Happy holidays from all of us at TNT Sports on a chilly 33-degree night in Cleveland. LeBron James' larger-than-life presence does attract your attention, but the Cavaliers would like to attract attention by turning things around from what has been a disappointing start. They're back home at the Q, and they're facing one of the surprise teams of the early season. It's Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers going against LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert. This is Reggie Miller, the czar, Mike Fratello. They will talk later on, both bursting with energy. We'll hear from Cheryl Miller in just a moment. Both teams, though, are ready to go on the floor. Let's check out the starting lineup for the Lakers, who have won 6 of their last 7. They come in at 15-9 up front. Luke Walton and Lamar Odom. Andrew Bynum at center. He's made major strides in his 3rd season, averaging 11 points, 10 rebounds. At the guards, Derek Fisher and Kobe Bryant. Kobe playing through a groin injury, but says he's all right. For the Cavs, who lost 9 of the last 11 in the backcourt, Daniel Gibson and Sasha Pavlovich. The center, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And at the forwards, Drew Gooden and LeBron James, who leads the NBA in scoring. LeBron at 30 points a game. The officiating crew, the lead is Ron Garrettson. In his 21st season, Derek Collins and Zach Zarba also working the game. And Czar under Mike Brown, the Cavaliers, last couple of years have been an excellent defensive team, but not the case this season, even with LeBron in the lineup. What's going on? What's different defensively?
I think it's the biggest glaring problem that they've had thus far this season. We're past the quarter mark, and they do not have a defensive presence. They know it. The team knows it. Obviously, the head coach knows it. I think it's just a matter of spending more time on it. They've had injuries and not a lot of practice time.
And a foul is called as Pavlovich trying to take it to the rim.
24, Kobe Bryant.
Foul is on Bryant. Reggie, when you consider all the turbulence involving the Lakers at the start of the season, much of it focused on the Kobe Bryant trade speculation as we see Sasha Pavlovich go to the foul line to shoot 2. It is remarkable how well this team has played. The Lakers have to be considered one of the surprises in the NBA.
Well, and the calming influence comes from their head coach, Phil Jackson, who is a little surprised himself at the start of these Lakers. I think, how are they getting it done? Great veteran leadership from Kobe Bryant, Lamar Odom, Derek Fisher, but it's been the young guys. Jordan Farmar, Andrew Bynum, even Trevor Ariza coming over in the trade really has been a catalyst for that bench for the Lakers.
Lakers last played Tuesday night in Chicago, beat the Bulls 103 to 91 and got balanced scoring. Here's Bryant for 3 and rebounded by Gooden. While the Cavaliers last night, as Mike Brown said, were embarrassing. A poor performance at Madison Square Garden. They're blown out by the Knicks 108 to 90 as Zydrunas Ilgauskas scores for Cleveland. They gave up. The Cavaliers did 63 points in the first half to the Knicks. Knicks shot 56% from the game. Kobe well off. He thought he was fouled.
Thought he was fouled, wound up taking a very poor shot. Very, very low percentage shot for Kobe.
And here's Gibson way off.
He's been one of the upstarts and bright spots for this Cleveland Cavalier team, his shooting.
Well, Booby came along very surprisingly in the postseason. Strong move by Lamar Odom.
But going back to Gibson's last shot, that was not a good shot. You can take one dribble and shoot the ball anytime you want. What you need is ball movement, get the defense moving, and then whether you're coming off the screen or creating off the dribble, then you create your shot.
All right, Fisher looking for Kobe on the wing and then takes the shot.
Derek Fisher.
So the game is tied at 4.
Last time down the floor, the Lakers fronted the low post to Zydrunas Ilgauskas. So Bynum was in front of him. When they lob over the top, Ilgauskas is so big at 7'3", but the smaller people rotating over just can't get to the ball in time.
Shot clock down to 4. So Gooden has to fire. Kept alive by Pavlovich.
Kobe got lost on the block out right there. Sasha followed up right off of his back for a wide open putback. Got to put bodies on people.
Item rebounded by Gooden.
Well, you can see the development in Bynum. The fact that he caught the pass after the pick and roll, stopped, gathered himself, and then made his offensive move, avoiding a charge.
Well, I think he's ahead of the curve defensively. I think his timing is great. His shot blocking is improving. I think where he's having problems is offensively. Even though working with the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James almost with the dunk. I think offensively, that's where his growth is going to have to come offensively for Andrew Bynum.
And a nice exchange between Ilgauskas and James. Walton called for the foul.
Two things that Phil Jackson pointed out in the development of Bynum. One is in the offseason, he was willing to put the time in, spent hours in the gym trying to get his game together, so to say. And then Phil and the coaching staff demanded that half hour each day with Kareem working on your post moves to develop your offensive game.
Andrew Bynum has blocked 22 shots his last 6 games, including a season-high 7 against Orlando. And as you mentioned, he credits the Lakers' special assistant, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for that accelerated progress. And the outside official, Ron Garrettson, pointing to Sasha Pavlovich.
Fouls on the Cavaliers, number 3, Sasha Pavlovich.
Well, now they're questioning, was it a shot or was he trying to pass it to Andrew Bynum on Kobe Bryant's drive right there? It looked like he was going to the hole to shoot the basketball.
But then again, at the end, he wound up lobbing that thing up in the air. It could have very easily been considered a pass.
That's why scorers and shooters get the benefit of the doubt. Now, if that would have been someone like a Derek Fisher, it would probably have been side out. But Kobe Bryant's known scorer. That's why he's at the free throw line.
And on the subject of Sasha Pavlovich in that blowout to the Knicks last night, things got so bad early fourth quarter. Here's one you will rarely see. Sasha with the casual pass to the wrong guy. And Nate Robinson of the Knicks.
When it rains,
put it down, yes.
It pours.
That's the way it went for Pavlovich and the Cavs as they lost by 18 in New York.
What happens when your spirit gets broken in the game? When you know you're not playing well, you're mad at yourself, and your entire team feels the same way. Those things happen.
LeBron James is giving the Cavs a 10-5 lead. LeBron did have good numbers last night, though. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Walton keeps it alive. Pavlovich putting moves on Odom. And it's put down. LeBron James with the tip and a somersault. Odom had it broken up. Pavlovich very aggressive here at the start. Has a 3-on-2. LeBron to good.
This is the Cleveland Cavaliers that people are accustomed to seeing. That's why they were in the NBA Finals a season ago. Didn't really show that much in the Garden last night, but this is what the intensity Mike Brown has been hoping his team was going to show tonight.
A 10-1 run by the Cavs. Fisher trying to call the foul. A 3-pointer for Derek Fisher. You can see Derek moving in on Gibson, looking for the contact.
That's one of those shots as a coach. You're going, oh, way to go. Great shot.
Now, how many times did you do that with Dominique Wilkins, coach?
Never with Dominique. I always knew it was going in.
There's Odom, put the speed on. Strong move by Lamar Odom.
Yeah. You see how Phil Jackson doesn't panic. Cleveland goes on a little quick run. Most coaches probably would have called the timeout to settle, his troops down. Phil Jackson just relaxes, lets them work their way through it.
James for 3. Talking about the surprising start of the Lakers, they're second in the Pacific Division. Bryant draws contact, yes, and the foul. The foul is called on Ilgauskas. Lakers 2 games behind first place Phoenix in the Pacific, and they now have the 4th best record in the West.
I wonder, is there more of a complete player in the NBA, maybe ever? Maybe Michael Jordan. We kind of posed that to Phil Jackson before the game, the similarity and the differences between the two. And is it a 1A, 1B? I think arguably they're the greatest shooting guards probably to ever have played this game. It's tough to pick.
But besides the fact that they both obviously are capable of scoring a huge number of points, it's the competitive drive. It's the spirit that these players have to want to win all the time and then get their teams to kind of follow along with them.
Well, Bynum went for the fake, and Ilgauskas is fouled. And when you asked that question of Phil, and I believe you had to tap Lazar to wake up, that was just very embarrassing to all of us. But Phil said it has even reached the point where Kobe chides his teammates in practice the way
Michael was notorious for riding his teammates if they were giving subpar efforts in games. Even our own Steve Kerr, he used to get on a little bit. And Kobe's the same way. He wants to win. He's a competitor. He's going to do whatever it takes. You know, I like when Phil said, I think Kobe probably prepares a little bit harder than Michael when it comes to watching tape or in shoot-arounds and things like that. But I'm telling you, Michael Jordan, unbelievable God-given talent. You know, I played against both of them, and they both gave me fits. If I had to pick one, I would go with number 23 just because I think he had the total package. But then again, when I see moves like this, I get flashbacks of being out there guarding both of them.
But take it one step further, Kobe has actually hired Tim Grover, who was the strength and conditioning guy that Michael Jordan used. He had his workouts on game day. Michael would lift in the mornings at times, and Grover was the guy that did all that for him. Well, Kobe has hired him.
And what's next? Come fly with me. He's going to do a video.
Nice pass from Bryant. And Odom scores again. He has 6 points. That's his third field goal. So the Lakers have come right back after that 10-1 run by Cleveland. Lakers answer with an 11-2 spurt.
We talked about the tremendous talent that Kobe Bryant possesses, his ability to drive baseline, stay in bounds, come up on the other side, and finish.
At 16, hello everyone, I'm Cheryl Miller, and it's time for the Lincoln Sideline Report. Now, if it wasn't bad enough getting almost beat by 20 points by the Knicks last night, this is what everyone is talking about. LeBron James and Coach Brown, towards the end of the game, bump into each other, starting off a flurry of speculation. I spoke to both guys. They are both calling it a non-issue. Coach Brown said that, you know what, he didn't even know anything had happened until he got an email this afternoon. But he says, you know what, guys, there is absolutely nothing there, no story. Mark?
All right, Joe, it looked like it was an accident.
Well, it really looked like LeBron was really talking to the official that was underneath the basket when he threw the basketball over there. It looked like he was kind of jawing with him and inadvertently bumped his head coach.
Yeah, and his head coach was in a zone trying to figure out what am I going to say when they come to the sideline. He didn't want to get it right.
Whatever he did, said it wasn't working last night.
LeBron to the fadeaway. And here comes Bryant, met by Pavlovich. Coming up on 5 minutes to play in this first quarter. Cavaliers have led by as many as 9. Bryant fouled by Pavlovich.
Some very revealing early stats here in the game, and it's been consistent with Cleveland's season. Their opponent, the Lakers, shooting over 58% from the floor. In transition, Lakers 6-2 fast break points. A big problem for Cleveland has been getting back at the defensive end of the floor. You've got to stop the opponent's easy scores. They have gone from a year ago being 8th best in the NBA. Opponent's field goal percentage, just 44. This year, 27th in the league. Their opponents are shooting almost 46.5% from the floor.
And this is something that Coach Brown really has put a stamp. You know, last year, the Cavaliers had an identity, and their identity was they got it done at the defensive end. And we had a chance to speak with him before the game. You know, he was scratching his head as Kobe Bryant. I think he wanted to bank that in. 1 of 4 at the line so far. So that's how talented this guy is. He's out here playing horse, and it's a regular season game.
He called glass.
He called glass.
You actually think that Gibson knocked it down? You think he did that on purpose?
He did that on purpose.
Well, why don't we just have Cheryl run out and next foul shot?
He did that on purpose.
It's Kobe if he did it.
I know Kobe well. He did that on purpose.
That's a Papa shot type shot.
Bynum has to be careful on Verjao. He's good at flopping.
And it's a Verjao gets checked in, took it away. Larry Hughes has also come on for the Cavaliers.
This is what's been very disappointing for the Cavaliers has been their bench, especially with Larry Hughes going to the bench now. Very erratic shooting. Verjao trying to work himself into shape after the long holdout.
And James hits with a floater. So 8 points for LeBron.
Well, Reggie, one of the points you bring up about Larry Hughes, as you see Walton drive the baseline looking for the pass-off. With Hughes, remember, there were 3 free agents, Ray Allen, Michael Redd, and this gentleman, Larry Hughes. So Cleveland went after the other 2, wound up with Hughes. And as a result, people expected him to come in and be the other star along with LeBron. Well, one night he'll get you 35 or 40. But then there's a lot of nights, again, before he comes back with those big scoring nights.
And that's what happened last week as Odom knocks it down. Larry Hughes back from a bone bruise in his left leg. He missed 14 games. He says he prefers coming off the bench because he is better suited at the shooting guard position rather than the point. Here's Varejao off the fake. He's trying to go glass. Kept alive by Gibson, and he fires for 3.
Rudy Gibson coming in, 3rd in the league from long distance. And that's one thing that helps his Cavaliers, especially offensively when they get it going, because LeBron James can get into the paint as Lamar Odom knocks it down. You need that 3-point shooting to surround a player like LeBron James.
Cavaliers up 23-21. Odom is 5 for 5. He has 10 points. Hughes rebounded by Odom. Fisher got out a switch by James.
Talk about talented players. Lamar Odom is a talented player. This guy can score. He can get you 20 a night, get you 10, 11 rebounds a night. When he was in Miami, you really saw this guy blossom and move to a different level as a basketball player.
All right, here is Bryant to the fadeaway. Played well by Hughes. The ball actually was bobbled, and then he was able to recover and knocks it down.
And these are the kind of, he gives you 3, 4, 5 moves all at one time. And the next time down the floor, he's going to give you a series of different moves.
Foul is on Hughes. He lost it and then called for the personal.
And that's what happens when you turn the ball over at the top of the circle. The wings are out wide and deep. The other team gets out for wide open, easy scores.
Well, we talked about who's better, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Who cares? When you can face up like that and put a series of moves on people, it's all money at the end of the day.
And in his 12th year as a member of the Lakers, it is a rarity these days of free agent movement for a player, whatever the sport, to remain with one team. Our staff has compiled a list of the current players with the most consecutive seasons with one team. All right, John Smoltz, 19 years with the Braves. Joe Sakic, NHL, 19 years with Quebec, Colorado. NFL, Brett Favre with Green Bay. Kicker Jason Hansen with the Detroit Lions, each for 16. And Kobe for 12 seasons. And Reggie, you spent, what, 18 years as a member of the
18 years in
Pacers?
Indiana, and you know, if you'd have talked to me during the summer, I could have swore to you I would have thought Kobe was going somewhere else too. With all the talks coming out that he wanted to be traded, everyone was talking about Chicago and the no trade demand and so forth, and kicker that he had in his contract, and everyone assumed that he was going to be changing zip codes, but here he is.
Phil Jackson referred to it as Chicago fever, and Kobe well received in Chicago the other night. Lakers,
of course. You see how bad they're playing now?
beating the Bulls.
Even you would be well received there, Coach.
But when Kobe was asked about it, told Chicago reporters he wanted to come to Chicago primarily because of the excellent deep dish pizza that is readily available in the Chicago area.
Come on, Cole.
Ronnie Kuriev with the rebound. He just checked in. Phil was saying that a trade to the Bulls almost impossible to pull off. Here's James. Gets it off and draws the foul. Odom did not hold him strong enough.
If you're going to foul someone intentionally to take away the layup, you're not trying to hurt him, but you got to wrap your arms around him so he doesn't get it off. You don't want to give him a three-point play.
Well, this is a locomotion going full bore. How are you, other than grabbing him and taking him out of the air, which you don't really want to do because then you are going to be injuring someone. When he's going full bore like that, there's really nothing you can do because he's going too fast. He's too strong.
Come on, Red. You know what the coach wants? Coach wants you to get in front of him, take a charge.
Did you call him a bore? Oh, full bore. I'm
Full
sorry.
bore.
Full
bore.
B-O-A-R.
Yes.
Okay. Got confused for a moment.
That happens a lot.
Yes, it does. Trevor Ariza and Jordan Farmar have checked in for the Lakers. So Farmar and Bryant in the backcourt. And Kobe lost it, and a kick ball is called. on the Lakers, so the Cavaliers take possession.
Reggie, filling a lane, going from one end of the floor to the other, changing from defense to offense. Anyone better, faster, covers more ground than LeBron James?
Probably not. Maybe Jason Kidd in his heyday, but being able to finish, Jason Kidd is more of a facilitator when he's got the basketball. I think having a chance to finish a play, probably LeBron James.
Hughes pops it out. Devin Brown, who just came on for the Cavaliers. Shot clock at 2. James. Rebounded by Varejao.
Ronnie Turioff is going to have to find the body of Varejao. He's very active on the offensive glass.
And Hughes threw it away. And here's it from the crowd. Odom, beautiful move by Lamar Odom.
Now you're talking 6'10", takes it off the glass, goes the length of the floor, changes direction off the dribble, and finishes. And he can finish lefty or righty. He is a very gifted, a very talented player.
6 for 6, 12 points for Odom. Lakers have taken a 1-point lead. James, yes. That's 12 for LeBron.
And Trevor Ariza is going to have to crowd LeBron James, make him put it on the floor, and send him to help.
Half minute left in the first. And the foul is called on Hughes.
Take away the fast break opportunities, the few that they have, Cleveland. Think about it. How many shots have come in the paint for the Cavaliers? They primarily wind up as a jump shooting team. And as you know, if jump shots aren't going in, long jumpers create long rebounds, and teams run back at you or run out on you.
Well, look on the floor right now. There is no Zajunas Ogauskas, so there really is no low post threat unless LeBron James is going to go down and post up, which he's comfortable at, but they don't run a lot of plays for him. Mike Brown doesn't. So right now, everything is perimeter oriented, and that's when they fall into that flux of settling for jump shots.
Larry Hughes sitting down. So Daniel Gibson is back on. Next foul puts the Lakers over the limit. 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Ariza defending on James. Trevor Ariza, good defensive player, has long arms. LeBron looking for a pick. Had to give it up. And the whistle is away from the ball. Well, it's a defensive 3, and this is all good for Cleveland. They get the free throw on the technical and get the ball back with 8 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, you know, we talked about Phil Jackson being surprised at his 15-9 start. You got to remember, a season ago they were 16-8, playing fairly well. And then a rash of injuries. Walton, Oden, they went down.
And then the rodeo came to town.
Somewhat the rodeo. The January 31st of this year and all of February, 13 of 14 road games.
And the difference this year is that Kobe has a better supporting cast. Here's James with the clock running down, and that'll do it. So that's the end of the first quarter. It's the Cavaliers 28, the Lakers 28. 12 points for Lamar Odom, 10 for Kobe Bryant, and 12 for LeBron James. Ohio, moments ago, Cheryl Miller talked with Laker head coach Phil Jackson.
You know what? Right now, the team is playing extremely well. Let's talk about Lamar, because you said he got up to a slow start, but he looks very comfortable so far.
Well, you know, we're just looking lethargic out there tonight. Our defense is giving away too many points. Lamar's doing okay on his own. Kobe's forcing a few shots, but we're okay.
Now, before the game, you mentioned buying them more touches. How do you make the adjustment second quarter to get more touches?
Well, we have to have guys that want to throw the ball into him. That's the big thing.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Phil Jackson's Lakers, Mike Brown's Cavaliers tied at 28. Second quarter is underway. Sasha Vujacic just checked in, and he got the ball to Andrew Bynum, which is what Phil Jackson mentioned to Cheryl he's looking for.
Well, the message was given during the timeout. We have a travel taking place, turnover at Cleveland. Message is, let's go inside and let him touch the basketball. 9.5 minutes, no rebounds, 0 for 1 from the floor in the first quarter for Andrew Bynum.
Well, no wonder he's got 9 rings and the coach is never satisfied. I'm looking at the stat sheet. They're shooting almost 65% from the field. Points in the paint, 12. They're Fast break points, 8-4. They don't look very lethargic to me.
Timeout is called. Ariza able to save the possession on the scramble for the ball. Both Kobe Bryant and LeBron James sitting on their respective benches getting a brief rest. So a 20 taken by the Lakers. Lakers at 15-9. They've won their last 2, 7 of the last 10 games. They come off the win in Chicago on Tuesday night, while the Cavaliers 11-15, and they have dropped 9 of their last 11 games, including 6 in a row, with LeBron James sidelined by that injured finger. As you look at the Eastern Conference standings, and right now, Cavaliers looking in from the outside.
This time last year, Cleveland was 19-7. We have the steal, and Varejao in with the layup. Count it.
Now, that was a time where Jordan Farmar really should have grabbed Anderson Varejao a little bit further out. Obviously, this is a big going against the small, but there's no way that your 6'10 power forward center should dribble all the way and get the lay-in and get the foul. You got to wrap him up sooner than that.
And for Anderson Varejao, it's only a 6th game following that holdout. Remember, he was signed by Charlotte with that offer sheet matched by Cleveland. Such a valuable guy because of that high-energy personality, so effective at taking charges. Just scrambles all over the floor. He did right there, and he's on another board. Odom missing on his first attempt. Hit his first 6 shots. Here's Brown with the feed. Pavlovich puts it down.
No LeBron James on the floor. Larry Hughes, Devin Brown, Anderson Varejao doing a good job running the break.
Varejao defending out Odom. It's Farmar. Good job defensively on this sequence. Shot clock to 4. Oh, bite him from Farmar, and that's what the Lakers want to see.
Now, you have to realize how far above the rim he was when he caught that. His elbows were even with the rim when he threw that one down.
Hughes backing Vujacic. He's been off.
It looks like he has his legs underneath him. It looks like he's still struggling.
Farmar way off on that shot.
Quick shot.
And the foul on Vujacic.
Timing here, the pass is laid up there perfectly, allows the youngster to go up and try and catch it above everyone else in the crowd, and then finish. Long arms, the finish over the top. Once again, Bynum way up above the rim.
There was no weak side help on that. Larry Hughes rotating late over. You got to come over early.
No, he was there, Reg. He ran underneath his legs. That's what happened. That's how high that lob pass went.
He was there?
Yeah, for a moment, and then he disappeared.
Okay.
Ilgauskas with an air ball. Vladimir Radmanovic has come on for Lamar Odom. Vujacic gets it to Radmanovic. Vujacic had a strong game the other night against the Bulls. 6 for 10 from the field, 19 points. He was the high man. Here's Vujacic for 3. Good job by Radmanovic.
Vujacic coming off those 19 points in Chicago on Tuesday. Seems to have found his stroke from long distance.
Ariza. And Bynum again. So the quiet start for Bynum because he didn't get the basketball. And now very much part of the offense in the second quarter.
When you take a piece out like a Kobe Bryant who does so much for the offense, suddenly the other players start to realize it's their turn to step up, and that's why Bynum has asserted himself.
Varejao taking from Pavlovich.
Someone's got to put a body on Varejao. He's everywhere. That's what he's out there for, is to get offensive rebounds and hustle points.
Farmar with a nice hesitation move. Beautifully done by Jordan Farmar.
Farmar, a young man who this summer decided to lighten up on his weight training program. He felt he had gotten too big, a little bit too heavy. Went to the yoga program and then took tons of shots in the offseason.
Ilgauskas shows the touch. 6 points for Zydrunas, who's had a solid season. 14 points, 10 rebounds for the first time in his career. And Trevor Ariza off the beautiful lead from Sasha Vujacic.
And Mike Brown is upset because this looks a lot like the defense from last night. You score at one end, a team gets the ball out, and you get a wide open dunk 2 seconds later. Vujacic does a good job of finding Ariza underneath for the uncontested dunk.
On TBS. Very funny.
He's been working extremely hard, outside of the things that we request of him as a team. He's been doing his own individual workouts, and it seems to be working extremely well for him, and I'm very pleased with it.
And this a moment ago, off the lead pass, Andrew Bynum put it down. Only 20 years old, first-round pick, drafted out of St. Joseph High School in New Jersey. In fact, you look at the Lakers' schedule tomorrow night. They're in Philly, then Sunday at the Knicks at the Garden, finishing up a 4-game road trip. Andrew Bynum from Plainsboro, New Jersey. And he says there's lots of ticket pressure. He's already rounded up 38 and counting and begging for more amongst his teammates.
Well, a season ago, 10 double-doubles already in this young season. He has 12, so you can see the growth that has happened in such a short amount of time.
Ilgauskas with an unusual-looking driving hook.
I thought that was nice of you to lend Kobe, by the way, your scarf for the interview.
Yes. Is that a knock or? It was a very nice-looking scarf.
On Kobe, yeah.
It's cold. Bynum off the mark. And here's Devin Brown, who had a strong game Monday against Milwaukee. Ilgauskas is fouled as the Cavaliers are able to push it down for the big man, who will head to the line. Let's check in with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Well, you guys have been talking about how much stronger Andrew Bynum is. Over the summer, he hired a full-time trainer, Sean Zerzana. He said that the biggest areas that he's noticed in the offseason is that he has a stronger base, better balance, upper body strength is better as well, because last year he realized that guys were muscling him up. Hasn't been the case so far.
Andrew Bynum at 7 feet, listed at 285 pounds.
And it always helps to be working out with the living legend and a Hall of Famer in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, special assistant coach for the Lakers. Speaking with Phil Jackson, he says that Andrew works out about 30 minutes before practices, before games with Kareem. So this is before home games with Kareem. So this is a big plus to be working out with a Hall of Famer.
And that is last touched by the Cavaliers. LeBron James is back, as is Drew Gooden. So the Lakers with Bynum, Radmanovich, and Bryant on the front line. They have Farmar and Vujacic at the guards. Catch and shoot for 3 for Jordan Farmar.
And that's what being locked in a gym by yourself and putting up 500 to 700 three-point shots will do for you. Felt he was getting too big from the weights. Listened to the Zen master and started doing yoga. Downward dog, upward dog.
You okay, Rich? Okay. LeBron is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Fouls on the Lakers, number 10, Vladimir Radmanovich.
Radmanovich called on the foul. A reminder, national coverage of the NBA continues tomorrow on ESPN. It's the Bulls and the Celtics, followed by the Clippers and the Mavericks, covered starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. What a terrific game last night between the Celtics and the Pistons. Saturday on NBA TV, Wizards and the Pacers. Coverage starts 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Christmas Day on ABC, it's the Heat and Cavaliers, followed by the Suns and the Lakers at 2 p.m.
With this combination on the floor now for the Lakers, you have 4 players who are perimeter guys that can all get behind the three-point line and make shots. And then you have Bynum, the low post presence. So we'll see if they go to Bynum, if he draws a double team. And then if you leave them open, you may pay from behind the three-point line.
But not only that, you have Kobe Bryant, who's going to command a double team as well, and who's a great slasher who can find those three-point shooters.
With the shot clock at 5, Bryant too strong. And Gooden able to recover. Ron James played by Sasa Vujacic. Wants to go right at him, and he does. Whoa!
You can't gamble on him. You go and try and reach around and steal. He handles the ball too well. He's big enough and strong enough. He just spins off you and gets to the rim.
Ball's deflected out, and last touch by the Cavaliers. Just under 6 to go in this first half, and the Cavaliers now lead by 2.
Well, you reach, and I will teach right there. Sasha goes for the reach. Nice little spin move by LeBron.
Back in Cleveland, Marv Albert, Lazar, Mike Fratello, Reggie Miller. There's Mike Brown, the head coach of the Cavaliers, 3rd season as the head coach. Cleveland spent time as an assistant with San Antonio, Washington, Denver, Indiana. Fisher comes up short. Here with the Pacers when Mike was an assistant.
Yes, it was for 2 seasons. Assistant head coach.
Varejao played by Turiev. Hughes. And rebounded by Turiev. I mentioned that you were with Indiana and know Mike very well because I know he really appreciated the suggested defensive alignments that you put up on the chalkboard as Fisher knocks it down.
Well, he always used to get on me about sending my man baseline, contesting all shots. And something we didn't see last night in his loss to the Knicks. So I thought I would remind him of his principles and philosophies.
He thought it was very helpful. Very appreciative. Took him well. And Bryant is fouled. So Kobe will go to the line. You may wonder what Mike Brown's winning percentage as head coach of the Cavaliers and perhaps some other people who coach there. Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins and a very excitable Mike Fratello.
But I'm gonna go this way though. Here's my guy. That was my guy. I couldn't even get it for you, Coach. I was going to put an arrow on you as my top all-time Cleveland Cavalier coach.
They weren't going to give me much time. You know that, Ray. They just dropped me right off the air.
Varejao with a standing one-hander. And here's Bryant slicing his way through. Yes, and the foul. Kobe Bryant with the move between James and Varejao, and LeBron is called for the reach-in.
And James got the foul right here. Kobe does a good job of seeing the angle and attacking the angle. LeBron just a little bit late coming on the help. I thought Larry Hughes could have rotated over earlier, get the ball out of his hand.
You know, reaching is making believe. Defensively, you have to move your feet. You have to get your body in front of the man. If you're going to let a player like Kobe Bryant get into his seam, you're going to have problems all night. You must get there, stop his penetration, force him to become a passer, make somebody else beat you with a jump shot.
Writing that down, reaching is make-believe. Or as
Reggie knows what I mean. You go through practices and you'll hear the coach every now and then, let's stop making believe. Stop making believe.
Or as your former teammate Reggie would say, Mark Jackson would say, fake hustle. Shot clock is down to 3.
That shot was blocked in.
8 points for Daniel Gibson. Lakers by a point. Varejao knocked it away.
Varejao's having active hands tonight.
And here's James. Won't count. Offensive foul.
And I'm not quite sure Ronnie Turioff was there right there. I thought his body was moving a little bit. Again, you've got LeBron James full steam ahead. Turioff did a good job of beating him to the spot. I stand corrected.
Second foul on LeBron. And Turioff came up short. Pavlovich gets to it.
Great pass that time by Walton.
What a move by Pavlovich around Bryant. And a foul.
Well, when your shot's not falling, even a little move like Pavlovich just did on Kobe Bryant right there in the open court can kind of get you going offensively. He's really been struggling for the Cavaliers, and he makes a nice little move in the open court, gets the ball to Varejao. Maybe that can get him going offensively.
Foul on Odom. Well, you can go to the new TNT Overtime on NBA.com and check out Reggie's mailbag as our own Reggie Miller takes questions and gives you his best answers. It says here, so long as they're not questions about creating your own shot off the dribble. Oh, that's terrible.
That's wasted energy. That's wasted energy when you can just catch and shoot. They're not going to guard you. Catch and shoot.
TNT Overtime on NBA.com, where you can get TNT NBA Thursday every day of the week. Walt with the hustle. Odom, played by Gooden. Walt over James. And LeBron did not want to pick up a third.
Small things in execution, the passing. Think about how many pieces or deflections of the ball the Cavaliers have gotten as the Lakers tried to start their offense. Entry passes have been sloppy, not clean.
And it's an offensive foul. Varejao setting the pick, making contact. That's his first foul. And it leads to a timeout with just under 3 to go. First half in Cleveland. Lakers by 1.
Good job, Andy! What do you have to do on that defensively? If you Jordan Farmer, what do you do? I'm giving you this knowledge, man. Come on over here. Let's sit by me, man. I'm giving you knowledge. I don't know what he's giving you.
Well, the veteran Eric Snow quizzing the young player Shannon Brown, second-year man out of Michigan State. Wants to make sure that Shannon is paying attention. Eric wearing the microphone, providing us access.
Well, two things that are great. You've got an extension of the head coach on the bench and a player in Eric Snow. But if I'm Shannon Brown, there's going to be a pink slip in my locker after this game. A, for not knowing what you're supposed to do by wrapping up the big guy and not listening to a seasoned veteran like Eric Snow when he says, come here, young fella, let me talk to you, and he shies away. That ain't supposed to happen on the bench. You've got an unbelievable, well-experienced guy in Eric Snow. You're supposed to listen to everything he's saying over there.
Into the NBA Finals, played in it. He knows what he's talking about.
Lakers up by 1, 2.5 to play. First half, Odom goes to the step back and scores. He has been on fire. Lamar Odom, 7 of 8, 14 points.
We've seen 4 different post-up guys for the Lakers. Walton, Bynum, Kobe, and Odom. Nice luxury to have.
They double up on James. Shot clock to 5. LeBron effortlessly.
Well, that's good D by the Lakers. Just better O by LeBron right there. He had to create his own shot. Shot clock running down. He nails the 17-footer.
LeBron is 7 of 11. He has 17 points. Oh, nice move by Bryant, and then threw a bullet to Bynum, who was fouled.
And I tell you, in years past, that would have been a shot by Kobe Bryant. That lets you know that he's bought into this system of we. In years past, it's somewhat been an I, especially with Shaq leaving. It's more of a we now. He had a wide-open 10-footer. He sees a wide-open Andrew Bynum underneath. He goes to the young fella.
And when you say wide open, he had lost his defender to the point that his defender actually fell down. When Kobe turned, he had a wide-open look at the rim, but passed it off.
All right, let's send it to Atlanta for Ernie Johnson. Ernie?
All right, Marv, coming up on the T-Mobile Halftime Report, first half insights from Magic, Charles, and Kenny. Later, Game 2 of our doubleheader has the Rockets and Nuggets in Denver. And later on inside, a taped cameo by Denzel Washington, sure to spark discussion among our own great debaters, so to say. Back to you.
So, what is all this so to say going on?
Well, that's a favorite expression that Bizarre and no other human being in the universe ever has used. And I know Ernie gets a kick out of it, as we all do. Gibson on the foul. That is his third.
I always wait. Actually, I anxiously await the moments when Ernie does pop into our broadcast.
You do?
Yeah, he does. Very enlightening. We have a special bond between us, actually.
I've noticed that.
Derek Fisher on the
A pretty good game coming up after this one, by the way. Houston Rockets, Yao playing very well right now. Denver, you know, can score bundles of points.
No Tracy McGrady, possibly. He went out at halftime of yesterday.
Does Tracy get hurt every season, Rich?
It seems that way. It really does seem that way. And it's unfortunate, too, because the Rockets are really struggling, as are the Nuggets, even though they're in first place in that division. Both are Houston outside looking in the playoffs right now.
Tracy McGrady, we're told, with that sore left knee, will not play tonight. So it is Yao Ming on the Rockets going up against Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets. Nice pass. Varejao could not complete it.
Missed opportunity. Got to make wide open layups.
Fisher. Oh, he's run into off the fake. Fouled by Gooden.
That's just crafty right there. You understand that he had Gooden in the air. Probably could have settled for a wide open three. Pump fakes. He sees Gooden, leaves his feet. Takes one dribble in. And he's going to be shooting 2 free throws. Kobe finds him in the corner. A little pump fake. Leaves his feet. One dribble. Let me close the gap here. Gets the foul. He's going to the free throw line. Leads the league this year. Tied with Steve Nash, 93%.
You talk about pump fake, ball fake, get the defender in the air. Last night, Detroit, Boston, end of the game. Chauncey Billups shows the ball, gets Tony Allen up, lands on top of him, goes to the line, makes 2 to win it.
Mentioned Derek Fisher leading the league at 93% at the line. He's now hit 72 of 77 free throws. Down to a minute remaining in the first half. And the Lakers now lead by 6. Gooden sets the pick. James. Hughes with the save. James with the bucket.
Well, Andrew Bynum did not want to pick up another foul on that. I think that's why he let LeBron James go by.
Bryant off the fake on Pavlovich. Rebounded by Bynum, and they're tied up. It'll be a jump ball.
jump ball.
You just look at Andrew Bynum. You can understand how young this guy is. This is a big guy. He's got a lot of size.
Wait a minute, how about the fact that coming out of high school, he played in only 27 high school basketball games, only 7 in his senior season, then comes into the NBA. What kind of experience does he have? He's got to develop so many parts of his game.
He was injured during his senior year. We were talking about it earlier with Phil Jackson. So he comes into the professional ranks with very little experience. Walton for 3. Got a half-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. So the Cavaliers will play it down. Walton digging in against LeBron James.
What are they going to do on this pick and roll? Are they going to switch it with the shot clock running down?
They're trying to set a pick. Here comes James. Slipped it somehow to Gooden. What a pass. 1 second to go. And Walton pegs it down. Trying to hit Bryant. That is the end of the first half. The Lakers 53, the Cavaliers 51. LeBron, the high point man, with 19 on 8 for 13 from the field. 8 for Daniel Gibson. Anderson Varejao, 7 points and 4 steals. The Lakers led by Lamar Odom with 14. Kobe Bryant, 13 points. Derek Fisher with 12. But Odom's had the hot hand, 7 of 8 shooting. Let's go to Cheryl with Lamar.
Lamar, you certainly did have a hot hand. It just seemed like from the very beginning of this game you wanted to be aggressive offensively.
Yeah, I found my shot early. My body is getting underneath me again, and I feel great out there. I feel like every shot's on full.
You know, from a defensive standpoint, do you guys need to make any adjustments because they're shooting still at a very good clip?
We're a lot better than this. We're letting them extend us out too far from the basket. We got to pack it in a little bit. We know LeBron wants to get inside and just make him hit jumpers.
All right, thanks for your time. All right, when we come back after this break, we'll be joined by Ernie Johnson in the game for the T-Mobile Halftime Report.
Being presented by Dish Network as we head to the second half, and the Lakers with a 53-51 lead over the Cavaliers. Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, the Czar, Mike Fratello, How about the consistent play that the Lakers are getting from Lamar Odom? First half, 7 of 8 from the field, 14 points. He's been playing very well.
Yeah, and that's coming off the win in Chicago where he had 17 points and 16 rebounds, and he's getting it in different ways. He's posting up in the open floor. What I want is a little bit more consistency from their bench. Only 7 points, and they've averaged 38 points throughout the year.
And Mike Brown has to feel very good with what he saw in the first half as he looks back to a very long night against the Knicks in New York last night.
And I think his leader has come out here to try and lead his team. The Cavaliers are 0-5 without LeBron James in the lineup. He knows he has to lead them. He comes into the game averaging 29.5 points per game. He has 19 here already in the first half on 8 of 13 shooting. So he's hoping he can lead by example.
All right, a look at tonight's two-game summary. Here are the numbers. Lakers at 53%. Cleveland shot 48. Rebounding department has been even. Second chance points. Big edge to the Cavaliers. Lakers do it in the fast break point category. How about 7 steals for Cleveland? 4 by Anderson Varejao. Cleveland has led by as many as 9. Lakers have led by as many as 6. Here is Odom. And the rebound handled by Pavlovic. We've had 8 ties, 13 lead changes. Pavlovic sets it up for good. Rebounded by Bryant.
I think Odom's first shot was more of a heat check. 7 of 8 in that first half.
Kobe Bryant opens up the second half. So he now has 15 points. The Lakers up 55-51. Cavaliers have lost 9 of their last 11, including the 6th straight, with LeBron James sidelined by that injured finger for 5 of those games. Gibson, yes, that's a 3.
You must have been listening to Reggie. Don't dribble. Catch and shoot. Catch and shoot. Catch and shoot. All jump shots here.
Well, there was miscommunication between Derek Fisher and Lamar Odom. Derek Fisher called the switch out. Lamar Odom did not go to Daniel Gibson. Wide open 3.
Fisher. Nice move by Derek Fisher. First, he used the pick set by Kobe Bryant. So the Cavs up 57-54.
Normally you play pick and rolls with a big man setting the screen and a guard coming off. That time it was a 1-2. LeBron James with the three-pointer, a little bit short. A 1-2 pick and roll, meaning Kobe Bryant, the 2 guard, set the screen, and Fisher came off. A 1-2 pick and roll.
This time Bryant too strong. Kept alive, though, by Bynum, and then lost it. Here comes Gibson. He has James on the wing. LeBron on the rebound.
Well, that shows you the athleticism of LeBron James. Takes a layup on one end, it comes off on the other, and in one motion is tipping the basketball in. He's strong, he is athletic, he runs the floor, he sees the floor, and he can finish.
Walton came up short. Good posting. Has to give it up. Bad pass. Gibson could not save it. Here's Odom. James tried to draw the foul. And he did. For a moment, Mike Brown was concerned that it would have been number 3 on LeBron. Instead, it's Odom with his second. Let's go to Cheryl.
And the Cavs would love to see more of those type of plays. They thought in the first half that they had allowed Lamar Odom to find his rhythm and get too comfortable. They want to be more disruptive. They felt offensively they're comfortable with the scoring opportunities. All about the second half. Our defense is top, guys.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. Here's James getting inside, and he is fouled. So LeBron will go to the line.
And Luke had pretty good position right there, but he reached at the last second, causing the foul right there. If he just would have continued with his hands up, I thought he had pretty good position on LeBron.
You can't get alongside LeBron James. He's too strong. He holds you off with that body, with that big frame that he has. You need to get in front of him, and then if you're going to come and help with your other defenders, surround them.
LeBron James, who grew up in Akron, still only 23 years of age. He'll be 24 on the 30th of this month. 3-time All-Star, most valuable player of the 2006 All-Star game, and currently leads the NBA in scoring, just under 30 a game.
You keep track of everyone's birthday?
I do.
He sends cards out. Is there something wrong with that?
It was the 30th. I mean, what is it?
Perhaps some cash involved at times to certain people. Bryant off the thing. Ilgauskas. The Lakers at 15-9. This is game 2 of a 4-game Midwestern Eastern swing. They opened with a win in Chicago over the Bulls on Tuesday night. And Bynum is hit. Foul is on Gooden. Lakers have won the last 2. They've won 7 of their last 10. It's a non-shooting foul.
And they better stockpile these wins now because, as we mentioned, in 08, when we start that trip through the road games in the beginning of November, 13 of 14, at the alley-oop from Kobe Bryant to Bynum, showing that extension again. They go on the road for 13 of 14 games. And obviously that covers the All-Star game, but still they have 13 of 14 road games beginning January 31st.
I made reference to the rodeo in the first half, and what I meant by that was San Antonio goes on every year this long road trip where they're away for about 10 or 11 straight road games because the rodeo comes in town. And you look at the Lakers schedule and you see all those away games, you figure rodeo must be traveling. There's that extension you talk about. Up high enough, he will find a way to finish Bynum.
It's Wii basketball now. Everyone always thought that Kobe was somewhat selfish because of the gaudy numbers he put up, but it's Wii basketball. The shot clock's running down. Missed there by LeBron James.
Here's Walton ahead of the field. Luke Walton.
Ball didn't touch the floor.
And that's the thing that the Cavaliers have talked about, how many points they give up in transition. And when you shoot long jumpers, the team runs out, you get an easy score like this.
Shot clock's running down. Outlet to Kobe Bryant. Ball doesn't touch the floor. Easy layup for Walton at the other end.
17. The NBA where caring happens. Mark?
And we are looking forward to Feb
17.
Exactly.
So we'll make sure we got the date out there.
Lakers up 61, 58, 7.5 to play in the third quarter. Bynum switching off to James, got some help. Shot clock down to 7.
The matchup we wanted to see, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James.
Oh, Ilgauskas. It counts. And the foul as LeBron James was able to fire the cutting Ilgauskas.
Pick and roll right here. Ilgauskas rolls late. Coverage coming over there by Derek Fisher. You really want to roll big for big. That should have been Lamar Odom there with his size as opposed to Derek Fisher.
First foul on Fisher. 3-point play for Ilgauskas, has 10 for the night, and the game is tied. Fisher and Bryant in the backcourt. Bynum up front with Odom and Walton. Here's Bynum. Very nice jump hook.
Good job of saddling into the lane, getting his balance, his legs underneath him, and then just elevating up over the top of Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
9 points for Bynum. Gooden. Handled by Bynum. Fisher met by Gibson. Here's Bryant. Yes. Kobe Bryant stepping right on Sasha Pavlovich, so Kobe has 17.
They flowed into their triangle offense in transition, then a simple screen away. Big on small. Kobe coming off the screen, winds up hitting the 18-foot jumper. You look to the left side, Kobe gets the screen away by his big man, one dribble, and then he's at the foul line. For him, it's like a layup.
Lakers with a 65-61 lead. Now Odom defending on James. And LeBron goes around him.
Got to force him left.
And the other thing is Odom's stance, he was open too far. You have to make people play sideline to sideline, not top of the circle to rim.
Bynum right back off the setup from Fisher. Phil Jackson was upset at Odom on that last drive. with James getting the step.
Well, someone has to come and either help from the perimeter or rotate underneath.
James threw it away, picked off by Fisher. And Derek trying to draw contact. Here's Odom. It counts, and the foul.
Good anticipation at the other end by Derek Fisher, trying to lead a one-man break. He thought he got into the body of Drew Gooden, missed the shot. Odom comes over for the tip-in.
And it's a different type of fast break. It's not a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1. This time it's a slow break that develops. Fisher gets it up, and then the next man trailing in, Odom, follows it up, and now have a chance for a three-point play.
Pavlovich committed his third. Odom only a 65% free throw shooter. Pavlovich will sit down. Larry Hughes checking back in.
Well, as great as Kobe Bryant is and his veteran leadership and the young development of Andrew Bynum, it's Lamar Odom who's the key to this team, because he can play shooting guard, small forward, power forward, sometimes center if they're going against Golden State or Phoenix. When he's healthy, they are at their best.
He is back from surgery on his left shoulder. He sat out nearly 6 months. 3-point shot attempted by Gibson.
I wasn't quite sure that Gooden didn't hit that out of his hands, out of bounds.
Well, that's what Bryant is saying, but last touch by the Lakers.
You know, I don't like the body language right now of the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's almost like they're going through the motion. You know, they got thumped last night to the second worst team in the Eastern Conference. Some say the worst in the New York Knicks.
Gibson on a quick release.
You just think they would come out here 110 miles an hour and just go crazy. And I'm really not seeing. I've seen it in little spurts, but I'm not seeing no consistency.
Here's Walton. That's a tough angle shot handled by Varejao. And the Cavs are in a stretch playing 5 games on 8 nights. LeBron sets it up. Varejao tripped up, fouled. Called in the act. And he will head to the line. Live to the NBA on TNT continues. Coming up next, Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Rockets and the Nuggets. Followed by the award-winning Inside the NBA, John Thompson will have a talk with Utah Jazz head coach Jerry Sloan. That's all coming up following the Cavaliers and the Lakers.
We've seen 2 or 3 times in this game thus far where Varejao winds up being the recipient of a very nice pass, but he's at the rim and doesn't finish. And a guy his size with his strength, he has to finish. You're going to get fouled. You have to concentrate on making the basket and then turn it into a three-point play.
Well, even more concentration is going to the free throw line. He just misses 2 free throws right there, and it's almost like it's a missed opportunity.
Walton, yes. That's his 3rd field goal. He has 6 points, and the Lakers lead by 7.
One other thing that is showing a lack of emotion right now is the crowd in this building. They're sitting there waiting for their team to hit that stretch so they can get behind them. But it hasn't happened yet because the Lakers answer it every time with a big basket.
And I would be remiss to say this is the same team that was in the NBA Finals against San Antonio just a season ago. It's been very befuddling how they've played this year. I know there's been a lot of injuries and guys not signing extensions and contracts, but it's been a little bit disappointing in what they've shown.
And the foul is called. It is a holding foul. Bynum will head to the line. Foul on Gooden. That's number 4. You mentioned the Cavaliers of a year ago. They win 50 games. They're second in the Central. 3 games behind Detroit. Second best record in the conference. In the playoffs, first round, they sweep the Wizards. Beat the Nets in 6 in the semis. Knocked off Detroit in 6 in that sensational conference final series. But then they were swept by San Antonio in the NBA Finals.
Not trying to make any excuses for the Cavaliers team, but 3 of their top 8 players were not in training camp. Eric Snow out due to injury, then Sasha Pavlovich, Anderson Varejao because of the fact that they were not signed at that point. When you have 3 of your top 8 miss training camp, and then you take the injury to Daniel Marshall, who's been out for so long, and then LeBron misses that stretch of 5 games, it's tough to have any cohesiveness. You don't get a chance to practice with the group.
Ira Newble has checked in for the first time. Mike Brown doing some shuffling. Here's Varejao. Oh, Hughes missed the layup. He's had a rough night, but Hughes comes right back. Lakers up 74-67. You mentioned Danielle Marshall. He's sidelined by a sprained right wrist, and Mike Brown telling us he'll be out another 3 to 4 weeks. Ryan is fouled. Hit from the angle by Hughes. Here's Danielle. Team foul number 4 on the Cavaliers. Keeping him up. Danielle. Or perhaps listening to the telecast.
You think he is?
Timeout, Los Angeles.
A timeout with just under 3.5 remaining in the third. All right, it's time for Reggie's Remarks, presented by Sharp Aquos LCD TV. Reggie's spending much time researching this information.
Well, we're watching two of the greatest high school players ever to make the jump to the next level. And this being LeBron's 5th season, I wanted to know how his numbers stack up against Kobe's 5th season. And there we go. We know 28, 5, 29.
Fascinating.
You gotta understand that Kobe's won a couple championships within that time, but LeBron is right on the heels of greatness. Obviously, he has some work to do to get to the level of winning championships that Kobe already has. Kobe has 3 rings, 3 in a row with the Lakers, but NBA finalist and LeBron James last year. It's the size, the strength, the court vision. Everyone compares him to Oscar Robertson. He puts up some gaudy numbers like that. I wouldn't go that far, but I can see where they can make the comparison.
Lakers 9 of 15 from the field here on the third. Fisher gets the roll. It counts. And a foul.
Derek Fisher a little bit too strong for Gibson that time. Gets him in the lane, that just kind of powers it up through him and gets a good roll, good bounce on the rim. There he is stepping in, his strength to pull the ball through, and then gets a fortunate bounce after kisses off the rim 3 or 4 times.
That's number 4 on Gibson. 4-piece on Gibson. And Gooden. Pavlovich has 3. So Ira Newble is getting a run here in the third quarter. James.
Perimeter. Everything is perimeter based right now for the Cavaliers. Jump shot, contested jump shots. No penetration.
Bryant. Biden. Picked off by James. Oh, he is fouled. Put a move on Fisher, but Derek grabbed him.
You know, remember what Eric Snow was talking to Shannon Brown, saying, you know what you should have done right there, young fella? That's what he was talking about. You stop the man in the open court, even with a full speed ahead, make sure he takes the ball on the side.
Yeah, and if you get him out that far, one, he's not going to have a chance to take a shot attempt. And the other thing is the impact isn't as great as when he's elevating, taking off the ground. Here it is, out in front. Now, Fisher understands right here, I've got to take a foul, so he reaches out. Odom is hustling back to protect the rim, but it's a good foul.
4th team foul committed by the Lakers. Devin Brown is back on the floor for the Cavaliers. Ariza is back. He's defending on James. Shot clock down to 6. Here's LeBron. And it's handled by Ariza.
Good defense there by Trevor Ariza. I would have liked if he would have went baseline. You never want to give up middle, but he did a good job of keeping a body on LeBron James.
Bryant, beautiful twisting move, getting the step on Hughes.
You're anticipating he's going to fade and shoot it from behind his head, and that time he reached underneath and kissed it off the glass.
Lakers have opened up their biggest lead. Brown for Varejao, blows the layup and backhands it in.
Well, that's the old Moses Malone right there. Easy lay-in, throws it on the other side, taps it in. 2 for 1, as they call it.
Well, nice way to pad your rebounding stats. Jordan Farmar has returned. Ariza. Varejao rebounds. with a minute and a half to go in this third quarter. Hughes got blocked by Ariza. And Larry Hughes.
Well, you hear the displeasure.
He continues to hear it from the crowd. Here's Brown, banks it home. So the Lakers lead by 7.
Devin Brown against Milwaukee 2 games back gave this team a huge lift off the bench. He gave him energy. He was on the floor for loose balls, took charges, came up with a couple of big offensive rebounds, and at the end of the game had an offensive rebound, score, 3-point play for him.
Ryan coming up short on that 3-point attempt. James looking to set up the crossover, draws the foul.
Let's take a look at the overload defense right now that the Lakers will play. Anytime that they see LeBron has the basketball in a solo situation, they're going to bring as many defenders as they can over and take away his one-on-one opportunities on the court. They overload the floor defensively. He faces basically a zone in half the floor. His decision, put it on the floor. That time it's a fading hook shot rather than taking it strong to the rim. And that's the idea, is to get him to see the defense in front of him, discourage the strong drives and attacking the basket.
LeBron now 6 of 8 at the line, 26 points, but only 2 of 8 from the field in this third quarter.
Well, it was 11-point lead just minutes ago. This is a good job by the Cavaliers, cut into the deficit going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, by the way, my telescope is very upset that you played with it in the first half. Do not do that.
Do
again.
not touch. I know.
Do not touch.
I know. Do not touch.
Odom is called for the offensive foul. In other words, Reggie, the telestrator has a similar personality to Bizarre.
Me.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Very sensitive. You saw it happen.
That was number 4 on Odom. And now Sasha Vujacic has come on for the Lakers. Half-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Cavaliers holding for a final shot of this third quarter. We're down to 10 seconds. Cavs down by 5. Here's Newell for 3. The crowd is going no. That was not the man that the Cavaliers would look to have a final shot, but he was open, and it's a traveling violation, so 0.2 of a second remains.
I wish Vujacic would have taken one more step after that. Maybe he thought you could cover the whole floor without dribbling.
Thought he was playing hopscotch out there. He threw the little rock out there and just started to go.
Checking in for the Lakers, number 10, Vladimir Radmanovic.
Vladimir Radmanovic now comes on for the inbounds pass, and Brown gets it away, but that would not have counted. There's 0.2 left, and it has to be a deflection or a guided tip. So after 3, it's the Lakers by 5. When we come back, Cheryl will talk with Cavaliers head coach Mike Brown.
You got a bear hug, Daddy. Just let me know, my right or your left? My right or my left? Oh.
Well, not only do you got a bear hug, but you got to force some left as well. When you're going against one of the premier offensive players on the perimeter, you've got to know his strengths and weaknesses, and definitely letting him go right is not one of his weaknesses.
As this fourth quarter gets underway, Hughes able to take it to the rim. LeBron James sitting out, Kobe Bryant sitting out. I mentioned that the show will be talking with Cavaliers head coach Mike Brown, but apparently declined the invitation to talk with his club as Vujacic fires a 3, and it's rebounded by Varejao. Now we have the Cavaliers playing next week on TNT at Dallas. Does that mean that Mike has to come on with us twice? Devin Brown So Brown hits the three-pointer, and the game is tied.
And you see what he does to them. He gives them energy. He gets the crowd back in the game just by playing hard and making a couple shots.
Radmanovich. This three-pointer fell short. 11 unanswered here for the Cavaliers. Ilgauskas. Zydrunas with the standing one-hander. 13 consecutive points for Cleveland.
Reggie, you mentioned timeouts being taken by a coach. Normally a coach would take a timeout right there. This is a tough group right now on the floor for the Lakers.
Well, other than Bynum, who is a starter, like we said, 38 bench points this year, only 7 tonight. He knows they can work their way out of this as Devin Brown comes up with the steal.
All right, here comes Brown. Devin Brown providing a spark. He's the 6-year man out of Texas, San Antonio. But the Hornets last year averaged 11 a game. He's also played for his hometown team, San Antonio. Spent some time with Utah. Bynum in a squeeze gets it out. Vujacic for 3. Radmanovich able to keep it alive. They get the new 24.
You have a combination of inexperience, youth, primarily jump shooters on the floor, and now Cleveland's defense seems to pick up the energy, and you see him getting easy offensive scores from their defense.
Foul committed by Ilgauskas, a reach in.
And it looks like Trevor Ariza got hit in the mouth on that. That's probably why he lost the basketball right there. Devin Brown coming up with the steal and the finish. Could have easily been an and one with Ariza with a little push in the back.
Cavaliers ended the third quarter with 6 unanswered. They've opened up here in the fourth with a 9-0 run, so they've scored the last 15 points in all. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Farmar has to launch it. 24-second violation.
And this is the consistency, and this is what Mike Brown has been waiting for his Cavaliers to show. Defense. Let us get it done on the defensive end.
Lakers led by as many as 11. Pavlovich going to the left hand, draws the foul. Nice move by Sasha Pavlovich. He was hacked by Trevor Ariza. So Pavlovich to the line, and we'll step away for a moment. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson back in our Atlanta studio.
Yeah, Marv, time for a game break, and this is what happened in Miami after Vince Carter hit a three-pointer for a 2-point New Jersey lead. One more chance for Miami. Dwayne Wade loses the handle. Look at Udonis Haslem. As time expires, he ties the game. They are in overtime right now, tied at 96. Consecutive overtime games for the Heat, who lost in Atlanta last night. Back to you, Marv.
All right, thank you, Ernie.
That's two teams that are struggling right there, Miami and New Jersey. Pick them. Throw a coin up in the air.
That's coming off a home loss to the Sacramento Kings. And as Ernie mentioned, Miami losing in overtime to the Hawks last night. Here's Vujacic. Bynum rebound. And he's fouled. Ilgauskas called on the foul.
Fouls on the Cavaliers, number 11.
Well, there have been a number of, I have to say, major disappointments this season in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference. People wondering about the Nets, the Bulls, Miami, Western Conference. What's going on with Utah and Houston? Timeout taken. The Cavaliers with a terrific run here in the fourth, lead by 5.
Cavaliers started the fourth quarter down 5 points. They're up 5 points now, 83-78, and they've done it with their bench, and the bench has done it with defense. Varejao taking the charge, Hughes with the drive and the finish, and then Devin Brown stripping the offensive player, and then he's off on his own for a fast break layup, leading this 10-point turnaround for the Cavaliers to start the fourth quarter.
Lakers at 1 point led 78-67. The last 5 minutes, 0 for 7 from the field And they've turned it over 5 times. So that ends the 16-0 run for Cleveland. Bynum is 4 of 5 at the line. Now 15 points for Andrew Bynum. Cavs up by 3. Brown trying to use the pick. Here's Pavlovic. It's tipped by Varejao. Wow, 2 opportunities. Once again, Anderson Varejao able to get inside. Kobe Bryant, as you see, is back. LeBron James remains on the bench. Wow, Devin Brown's done a terrific job at both ends. Shot clock is down at 3. Another Laker turnover.
That pass has to be a bounce pass. Too many hands up high.
Hughes for 3. Rebound is swept by Bynum.
Well, you mentioned the good job that Devin Brown was doing there. He got a piece of that ball that was being passed, a deflection, and Mike Brown, the coach, feels comfortable with him because they were both together in San Antonio a few years back.
Bynum gets to it again. What a second effort by Andrew Bynum.
Size. When you got size, when you got length.
And he's starting to understand what he's capable of doing. That's scary. Give him a couple more years.
Here's Brown. He is fouled by Radmanovic.
Kobe Bryant gets into the teeth of the defense right here. Going to stay relentless on the boards right here. Just using his size. He has good hands. He can see over the defense. Gets the rebound and the easy putback.
Well, national coverage of the NBA continues tomorrow on ESPN. It will be the Bulls and the Celtics, followed by the Clippers and the Mavericks. Coverage starts 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Saturday on NBA TV, it's the Wizards and the Pacers beginning 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Christmas Day on ABC, the Heat and Cavaliers, followed by the Suns and Lakers, starting at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. LeBron James back on the floor as we come up on 7 minutes to play here in the 4th. Nice pass. Fisher for Odom.
Varejao came across the lane too soon, anticipating the drive to the basket. He came all the way across. He got no help from his defensive partner behind him in cutting off his man.
Odom now 9 of 11, 19 points.
This Laker team is not going to panic. They have seasoned veterans on this team.
Odom rebounding the miss from James. Kobe Bryant being played by Larry Hughes. Got the step, but then the ball was deflected away. And Hughes did a good job. 13 on the shot clock. Phil Jackson has Bynum with Radmanovic and Odom on the front line. Bryant and Fisher at the guards. They clear it out. Kobe, yes.
Kobe Bryant.
When you can't put your hands on the offensive play the way you used to be able 2 years ago before the rule interpretation was changed, now it's so hard to guard a guy like Kobe Bryant.
Which is why when we talked about 1A, 1B, I think Michael might average 45 in today's game if you couldn't put hands on him.
James went to the second option and it was blocked.
Bynum came over it the last second, got that big arm out there, got a piece of it.
And then LeBron is called for his 3rd foul.
LeBron makes a great offensive move here, turning one way, spinning, and then stepping back the other way. And there's that long youngster, Bynum, with the arm and the block shot.
13 foul committed by the Cavaliers.
Bynum 8th in the league in blocks.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. The game is tied at 86. James. Ilgauskas able to get to it, and they'll have another possession. Mike Brown wants to talk.
Timeout Cavaliers.
Timeout called by the Cavaliers. Look at downtown Cleveland. Back in a moment.
Our house is a house of unselfishness.
Made it official last week, signing that contract extension for one more season, plus an option for a second year, the 2-year deal worth about $24 million. Here's Devin Brown. And it comes back to LeBron James as we approach 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and the game is tied at 86. Here's LeBron taking to the rim. Would not fall. Rebounded by Odom.
I think that touched every inch of that rim and did not go down. Nice left hand there by LeBron.
Fisher, yes. The Lakers recapture the lead, able to withstand that 16-0 run by the Cavaliers. 18 points for Derek Fisher. Meanwhile, LeBron James just 2 for 12 from the field in the second half. Hughes using the screen. Ilgauskas wide open. Varejao rebound. So they have the new shot clock. Odom defending on James. They saw Walton slide over. Here's James. And this time it does fall.
Huge advantage for Cleveland tonight on second chance points. Second chance opportunities which come about when you offensive rebound, get the ball back again, and you wind up getting more field goal attempts at the basket.
The game is tied at 88. Walton with the rebound and put back.
Well, no one's blocking out. Lakers coming into tonight's game, the #1 rebounding team in the league. Not doing a very good job on the defensive boards tonight.
Brown passed on a 3. Rejected by Bynum. He got it with both hands.
His elbow.
Yes. Just under 3.5 to play here in the fourth. Bryant spins and gives it up. Fisher blocked.
Good recovery there by LeBron James.
And the foul is called on Bryant.
That's a no call. That's a no call.
If Hughes would have traveled, then you make the call. But that, like you said, there should be no call there. It wasn't enough contact to make a call on that.
Jacoby, his second foul. Sasha Pavlovich, who's played well tonight. Checking back onto the floor. Gibson comes up hobbling. He's fouled by Fisher. And for the Lakers, their fourth team foul. Cavaliers have 3. Ilgauskas, Varejao, and Pavlovich up front, with James and Gibson in the backcourt.
Good show there by Bynum. Now he's got to get back to Zadrunas.
Pavlovich for 3. Comes to James. Yes.
Second chance points, second chance opportunities. You must rebound. Defensive rebounding is the key to winning basketball games.
31 points for LeBron James. Fisher. The game is tied at 92.5 remaining here in the fourth. Gibson for 3. Varejao.
He's everywhere.
Yes, but it's a loose ball foul as he collides with Odom, and a timeout is taken.
Second shot opportunities have been plentiful for the Cavaliers right here. LeBron James with a little dump down.
Back in Cleveland, Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, Bizarre, Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller. The game is tied at 90 with 2:23 to go in this fourth quarter.
And in the fourth quarter, Kobe Bryant just 1 for 3, 3 field goal attempts, 2 points. It's been 4 minutes since he's taken his last shot. So we'll see now with 2:23 remaining in the game just how much he asserts himself. And perhaps that injury is a little more serious than we are led to believe.
In fact, during the timeout, you can see Kobe flexing and stretching. Came in with a groin injury, played through it in Chicago the other night.
We talked about the matchup. LeBron James on Kobe Bryant, very much the same way LeBron guarded Michael Redd down the stretch a couple games ago.
Shot clock to 7. Walton. Rebounded by Ilgauskas. Good job defensively by Pavlovich against Walton.
The Lakers had used up so much time that when it got into Walton's hands, he had to come up and create a shot.
And these guys know each other from their U.S. days this summer.
James is fouled. LeBron once again taking it to the rim. Foul on Bynum. That is his second. So LeBron to the line. He's 7 of 9 at the line.
I think Phil Jackson's talking to the official right now about whether or not he was taking that shot attempt when he was fouled.
Well, it was bonus anyway, so he was going to the line regardless.
Next foul for the Cavaliers will put them over the foul limit. Well, LeBron surpassing his season average by a point.
Now it's Kobe Bryant's turn.
And he fires from the tough angle. Rebounded by Varejao. Cavaliers with the ball. They lead by 2, just under a minute and a half remaining in this fourth quarter. A dramatic comeback by the Cavs, scoring the 16 unanswered to turn things around. Here is LeBron James, rebounded by Bynum.
You've got arguably the best closer in purple. Are they going to try to get the ball out of his hands, or is he going to do some magic?
Puts the move on James, nowhere to go, had to pop it out. Fisher for 3. Rebounded by Varejao. That rimmed out. Under a minute remaining in this fourth quarter. Varejao with 13 rebounds. Shot clock down to 5. James came up short. Good job by Odom, but Varejao with another rebound. But it's a shot clock violation, so the ball back to Cleveland. The ball did not hit the rim. No, apparently they called the timeout. And on the public address they said Lakers ball, but it appeared that it was a shot clock violation.
Yes.
So it should be the Laker ball.
The official gave the signal for a shot clock violation. Said it had not hit the rim. Mike Brown was wondering whether or not there was a foul on the play, but when this shot goes up, if it does not hit the rim, there's the offensive rebound by Varejao. Now when he kicks it out, there's only 2 seconds left on the 24-second clock around this time.
No time, no score, and you also got to know the shot clock. Varejao should have went up immediately right there, tried to get the ball in the rim or make the basket.
The Cavaliers only the second turnover of this second half. Cavaliers up 92-90 with 28.7 remaining in the fourth, and the Lakers in possession.
If you're Cleveland right now, you can't pay so much attention to Kobe Bryant that you wind up leaving a guy like Derek Fisher, who can make three-point shots, wide open to win the game for him.
4-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Here's Odom for 3. Slapped away from Bynum. Ilgauskas with the save, but it came to Bynum and a foul. With 11.9 to go in the fourth quarter, Andrew Bynum will head to the line. He's 5 for 6 at the line. And the foul was called on Varejao. That's his third.
And this is why I do not like saving the ball underneath your own basket right here. Either eat it or throw it near half court. When you throw it right below the opposing team's basket, and Bynum misses the first of 2, you give him an opportunity.
Right now, the strategy is you'd have to decide you want him to miss on purpose, or if he makes the one, you're down one, you must foul immediately when the ball comes in play.
Well, Bynum only a 67% free throw shooter, misses on both, but the rebound was collared by Bryant, and he took a timeout.
You see the strength? He took that basketball away, and this shouldn't happen. Anderson Varejao, there's two Cavaliers around it, and he takes it away from both of them. Triple Ocho.
Let's go back a moment ago with Bynum on the line. He had missed his first one. Watch Kobe Bryant, who's located right here. Kobe now will use his own man as a screener for LeBron James. When the shot goes up, Kobe will turn the corner, run his own man off, okay, and then go up for the offensive rebound. Shot goes up here. Bryant knows if LeBron's going to block him, LeBron will run into Bynum. Kobe comes up with the offensive rebound and calls timeout.
All right, the Lakers have a 20-second timeout remaining. Cleveland has a full and a 20. 10.3 to go in the fourth. And the Cavaliers lead by 2. Bryant for 3 and the lead. Played by Fisher in a collision with Gibson. Foul called on Fisher.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It's a loose ball. Both guys have the opportunity to go after it. Daniel Gibson did not even see the rebound coming. Derek Fisher is going for the rebound. He should have every opportunity, just as much as Daniel Gibson, to go after the ball right there.
And Fisher's the one who gets both hands on the basketball. Both hands. Fisher's got it.
Tie goes to the runner, and it looks like Fisher was there first. So how is that a foul? If anything, it's incidental contact.
Well,
at best.
Daniel Gibson will be headed to the line with the Lakers over the foul limit. He's a 79% free throw shooter. Back in a moment. All right, 2 free throws coming up for Daniel Gibson of the Cavaliers. Cleveland with a 2-point lead. If there's a miss, Lakers still have timeouts remaining.
Yeah, time for the Lakers still. They have to hope, obviously, for a miss right here. But what they're going to do now is hope that he misses one. Then when they secure the rebound or after the second shot, they'll call timeout, advance the ball. They'll still have time to try and tie the game if they're down only 3.
And Reggie, it's apparent, and we've touched on it several times during the telecast, that Kobe Bryant is struggling with that groin injury. He might have, if in different circumstances, if he were healthy, I think he would have driven the ball.
I think a healthy Kobe Bryant probably takes LeBron James off the dribble right there. Me being a player on the road, I always used to like to go for the win, so I can kind of understand him going for the 3. But knowing Kobe and knowing how good he is off the dribble, I probably would have liked to see him drive and either get fouled or make a play.
Cavaliers now lead 93-90. 3 and 3/10 seconds to go in the fourth. Clutch free throw shooting by Gibson. And the Lakers will take their final timeout. Cavaliers 94 and the Lakers 90. Cleveland looking to bounce back from the lackluster performance against the Knicks last night. Looking ahead, Cavaliers Sunday home for Golden State. Tuesday afternoon, the Christmas Day game against Miami. That'll conclude the 3-game homestand, while the Lakers play tomorrow night in Philly, then Sunday afternoon in New York. That's it for the 4-game road trip. And then Phil Jackson and his team head back home for a 5-game homestand, but it's a 5-game run that includes Boston, Phoenix, and Utah.
Right now with the Lakers taking the ball in, down 4 points. Even if they should catch and shoot quickly and hit a 3, they'll still be down 1. They have no more timeouts remaining, so they would have to foul immediately. Cavs go to the line, and the Lakers then cannot advance it the second time because there's no timeouts left.
Well, here's Bryant just flipping it up, and that's it. That is not the inbounds play that the Lakers are looking for. Now the crowd reacts to the Cavaliers, who have defeated the Lakers for the fourth straight time here in Cleveland. And the Cavs now 12-15. The Lakers dropped to 15-10 after winning 6 of the last 7. Let's go to Cheryl and LeBron James.
LeBron last night against New York, you guys didn't have a whole lot of energy. Looks like you might have found your spark in Devin Brown.
Coach got on us, man. And, you want to respond to when a coach get on you. Coach got on us bad about our defensive efforts, and we found a way to get some defensive stops late in the ball game here and got a big win.
Mike and Reggie thought that you guys were settling a little too much on the perimeter, but offensively in the fourth, you looked more aggressive attacking the basket.
Yeah, we did a good job of attacking the basket. I think our second unit did a great job of opening the fourth. Gave us a lot of energy to close it out, and I was able to get to the line, able to get a couple layups to propel us to a win.
Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks, sir.
Mark?
All right, a superb game for LeBron. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He scored 6 straight points for the Cavs down the stretch. Kobe Bryant, just 2 points in the fourth, finished with 21. Lamar Odom, 19. Derek Fisher had 18 points. So the Cavaliers come from behind. They had that 16-0 run, late second, early third, and were able to turn things around. 94-90, the final score. Coming up following a quick break, game 2 of tonight's doubleheader between the Rockets and the Nuggets. So for Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller, Mike Fratello, and our entire crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from Cleveland.